Hello. This is Hank Wyman. We're getting a brief resume of my father's life from after he was born, of course, and some of the highlights of his life up until now.
It's all ready to go now?
Yeah, ready to go.
All right. This is Edward E. Wyman. I was born in 1870 in the county of Marion, Iowa, 40 miles southeast of Des Moines. Lived there till I was about 6 years old, when the folks moved to Greene County, 60 miles northwest of Des Moines. Lived there till I was about 15 years old. The folks moved to Missouri and stayed one summer, raised one crop in Harrison County, Missouri, and moved to Nebraska in the fall of 1885. Well, listen, wait a minute.
Go ahead. Anything you say is all right. Go ahead.
In 1885, the folks moved to Dawson County, Nebraska, and moved to Lexington, 3 miles east of Lexington, and rented an 80-acre farm. I went to school there that winter, and the next spring Father rented a farm 9 miles east of Lexington, and that fall they had the worst blizzard Nebraska ever had. In 1886, the wind changed to the northwest, and the thermometer dropped to 35 degrees below zero. It was snowing and blowing and drifting, and I don't remember how many was killed how many died during the blizzard, but there was quite a few all over Nebraska and Iowa and Kansas and Dakotas. That was in 1886. In 1887, Father got a homestead in the hills, 12 miles northeast of Lexington. We moved there in the fall of 1887. We lived there for about 4 or 5 years. In 1887, I left home and went to Cheyenne, and from Cheyenne to Laramie, Wyoming.
Did you go by yourself to Cheyenne?
Yeah. And from Laramie, I worked in a hayfield at Laramie, and after we got through there, I went to Denver. From Denver, I shipped out on the railroad and went over to Leadville.
Leadville what?
Leadville, Colorado. I was at Leadville on the 4th day of August, 1887, and it had come up a big snowstorm there. It snowed about 4 inches, and I got out of there. Went back to Denver. That fall, I went home. I went to school that winter, and the next summer I stayed at home and worked. And in 1889, I went to Texas. I was in Texas for a while. From there I went to Louisiana. From Louisiana I went back to Texas and came home that fall, and I had the chills and fever. And that fall of 1889 I went to high school at Lexington and lived with my Uncle Jake, my father's brother that lived in Lexington.
Uncle Jake who?
Uncle Jake Wyman.
Uncle Jake Wyman.
Yeah. And the next spring then I went back home, and I still had the chills and fever. And Father went to a doctor to get something for it, and he gave me some kind of medicine that had poison in it. And Dad seen the bottle with the arm and crossbones on it, and he threw it in the stove. He wouldn't have it. So In 1891, I stayed at home. In 1889, I stayed at home and went to school that winter. In the spring of 1891, Mother died. After Mother died, I left and went back out to Colorado. I went to Greeley. From Greeley, I went to Utah.
Did you work in the mines or anything there?
No. I went to Utah and worked in the Mingo smelter. And worked there till I began to get leaded, and I got out of there. That was in 1891. From there I went to Pocatello, and from Pocatello to Pendleton, Oregon. At Pendleton I worked in the harvest field. After harvest I started to California and got as far as Douglas County, Oregon. And I went broke and I had to go to work. I went out and went to cutting wood. I cut wood all winter, and in the spring of 1892 I came to California. Landed in Orland, Glenn County, in the northern part of California. Stayed there till in 1896 I came to Fresno, and I've been in Fresno ever since.
Now I want to say something, Dad.